Hello, I'm Deanna Herron, host of the Deanna Herron Podcast Show. Have you ever wanted to do something bold, like start a business, write a book, or go for your dream job? This show was created for women just like you who want to be bold, shine bright with grace. My goal is to educate you, inspire you, and empower you with ideas that can transform your life. Be inspired by the Deanna Herron Podcast Show at deannaherron.net. Welcome to the Deanna Herron Podcast Show. This is Deanna Herron, your host. Happy Tuesday. I'm super excited to be with you today. And I have a great topic today, and it's about really clarifying your vision. So as a leader for the last 22 years, I have been able to choose some things in my life that really give me clarity in my vision. And I want to share those with you. As a reminder, if you have not had an opportunity to listen to last week's podcast, I'm telling you, Danny Saylor is absolutely amazing, precious, precious person. And she gives such incredible insight into her life and her podcast as well. So go back and listen to last week's podcast. So let's get started. Today, let's talk about your vision, and not just your vision, but having clarity, a crystal clear vision, having that clarity. You guys, it's so important. So many of us will set goals. We have a vision of what we want for the future, but what is it that keeps us crystal clear? I want to give you 4 habits that I have created in my life specifically for clarity of vision. So there's 4 things. There's several things that I have created, habits in my life, but these are the 4 specifically for just keeping your mind focused on where you're headed and where you want to go. So if you're sitting at home, grab your pen and paper, take some notes, because I'm going to share with you some valuable ideas that can absolutely change the trajectory of where you're headed. If you are in your car listening, listen to this podcast again, because I guarantee you some of these things you're really going to want to incorporate into your life. So let's just start with number 1. And I have to tell you, number 1 is something that has been extremely, extremely hard for me. And it is being still. Being still. There are definitely certain times in my life where I'm able to be still on a more consistent basis. There are times in my life, especially when I have so much going on, doing a podcast, working businesses, investing in real estate, building people, doing trainings, etc. My mind has a really hard time being still. Can you relate to that? For most of you, I know that you're probably running a business, you're working a career, you have a spouse, you have kids, you have dinner to plan, etc. And so your mind is just going in a million different directions. And the last thing that we think about when it comes to clarity is just being still. We have so much on our mind. So I'm going to tell you what being still will do for you is it will help you release all of those thoughts that are going on in your head, and they're just whirling around, they're turning, and it causes a lot of confusion. There's mass confusion going on within your mind because you have so many thoughts. So I experienced this yesterday. Okay. So I have been someone who practices yoga for many years, meditated, etc. I have had a really hard time being still. Yesterday, and here's the reason why. Yesterday, I took a little break from being, I was in my creative mode, writing different things, and I took a break, went outside, front porch, sitting on my porch swing, which was one of my favorite things because it's so incredibly beautiful, and I'm able just to reflect. But my mindset yesterday was, okay, it's downtime. And typically in my downtime is when I pick up a book and read. And I just let my mind kind of go. At this particular time, I felt in my spirit that I needed to just be still. And I put the book down and I sat in the porch screen, and all of a sudden, all of these amazing creative thoughts came to my mind. I was able to release the clutter that was not causing a crystal clear vision. So, being still, just being focused on nature, not reading, because that has a tendency to clutter your mind as well. I was able to have a crystal clear vision of what is next. And I'm going to tell you what happened. I got this idea. I came into my office and I immediately started writing, and it just flowed. You guys, if you are in a place where you create, whether it's creating people, building people, creating content for social media, creating content for training leaders, whatever that is, you need to be still. In the stillness is where your creativity will occur. And I had a misconception about this. Years and years ago, I went to a leadership conference, and see if you can identify with this. I went to a leadership conference, and it was an amazing conference, by the way. But what we talked about at that conference is, to be a world-class leader, don't watch TV, don't have downtime, get up early, work out, eat well, go, 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 go. And so that has been my mindset, is go, 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 go. And you guys, that doesn't allow for stillness. I cannot impart this on you enough. It is so important. So, not only be still on a daily basis, even if it's for 5 minutes, okay? Being still, just listening, go out in nature, go for a walk. You need to do that daily. But once a year, I highly recommend that you take 3 to 7 days, a break by yourself, take your journal, nothing else, and listen. That is your opportunity to really listen and get a crystal clear direction on where you are headed. You will not regret it. Find a VRBO that is just your style. If it's clean, if it's white, whatever it is that you love, find it, go there, get some food, chill out, and write in your journal. Okay, so be still. Great habit for you to incorporate in order for you to have that crystal clear vision. Number 2, have a journal. I just talked about a journal. So we've talked about journals on this podcast before, having that gratitude and setting your 10 dreams for the next 10 years. Every day, I write those out. My gratitude, my 10 dreams for the next 10 years. But the other thing that I do in my journal is, whenever I'm having a mental block, a limiting belief, a thought that does not serve me, I start to write it out in my journal. And do you know what that does? It gives me clarity. It gives me the ability to backtrack where that thought started and how I can overcome that particular limiting belief, or whatever it is that's troubling my mind. Your journal is something that you can use to write out your thoughts, look at them, and go, okay, this is not right in my head right now. How can I take care of this? Okay, so journaling and writing out your thoughts is really, really imperative, because awareness is the only way that we can change our thought pattern. And when you are aware of your thoughts, you are able to create a thought that serves you much better. Okay, so the number 2 habit is journaling. So the journal that you're already writing your gratitude and your 10 dreams, use that journal. That's what I do. I have the same journal carried around with me. And whenever I have a thought that's not serving me, I basically coach myself through it, if that makes sense. Okay, number 3, This is $1 million idea for you. I'm just going to tell you right now, $1 million idea. When I sit down in my desk, there are so many times when my mind is just going in a million different directions. Even though I have my calendar in front of me and I know what my tasks are at hand because I work at home, my mind is going to laundry. My mind is going to what's for dinner. My mind is let the dogs out. My mind is looking at what's next. When is my next hair appointment? When do I need to schedule this? So many thoughts are going through my head when I'm sitting down at my desk. It takes me a little while to settle. And to be quite honest, it takes me about 20 to 30 minutes sitting at my desk to really get in the mode of the task at hand. One of the things that I have done for myself, and I did this years and years ago, but it wasn't in the format that I'm going to share with you today. I have a notebook, and it's a pretty notebook, of course, because it sits on top of my desk. And in that notebook, when I sit down to a task at my computer, I have that notebook handy. I have a pen handy. And as a to-do comes to my head, I'm writing it down in this notebook. So it goes out of my head and onto the paper. And so it causes clarity of what I'm about to do. And I have it, there are different categories. So I have, this is a personal to do. This is a business to do. This is for my assistant, Christy. This is for my social media, Kerrigan. This is for, so I have specific to-do list as they pop into my head. You guys, I'm just telling you, that will change your life right there. Categorize them as they come to your head, write it down. And you know what? That thought is not going to come into your head again as you are trying to do your current task at hand. Okay, it's genius. I'm just telling you this. I did not come up with it. I'm sure I heard it from somewhere, but it's absolutely changed my clarity. It's changed my focus, and it helps me stay on task. So have your dumping station. That is my dumping station. It happens to be a beautiful pink notebook, but that is where I dump my thoughts. Instead of having all of these to-do lists, or excuse me, these stickies attached everywhere on my computer, it's in one place. Okay. High five on that idea. I know you're going to love that. Okay. Number 4, lastly, this is really important. Enable to have a crystal clear vision. Enable for you to be able to have clarity in your life, you need to stick to your calendar. You have to stick to your calendar. I could do an entire podcast on how to create a calendar that you can stick to. But basically, I print out my calendar weekly. I'm adding to my calendar and I stick to it. And whatever that task is at hand, I'm focused there. And then once that task is done, I will get up, take a break, do my laundry, fold my laundry, whatever it is, go for a walk. And then I come back after 15 minutes and I go on to the next task. I do work from home. I get to create my own schedule, but I have to take on that day with full power. And the way that you do that is you have to stick to your calendar. At the end of the week, I add up all the hours that I've spent in certain categories of things that I'm doing, and I can actually see how productive I've been. Okay. So if you don't have a calendar, if you don't have things written down, I promise you, you will not get anything done. If it's not on your calendar, it's not going to get done. I promise you. And I've shared with you before, I even have date night. It's actually written on my calendar. So when I print my calendar off for the week, it says Tuesday night, date night, so that I don't book over it. So stick to your calendar every single day. Make that something that you strive for every single day. Don't let your mind go in different directions, because that's what causes your procrastination. And so, again, 4 things that you can create in your life, 4 habits that really can create such clarity in where you're headed. Number 1 is be still. Just remember that is when you can really hear where you're going. Your creative juices really start to come into your mind when you're able to sit still. Journal your thoughts, not just your gratitude, not just your goals, but journal your thoughts, because that awareness is what is going to help you create clarity and overcome those limiting beliefs. Number 3, have your dumping station. I give you permission to go to your favorite office store and find a pretty notebook to sit on your desk and allow those thoughts just to fall on that notebook. Allow that to be your dumping station. And number 4, stick to your calendar. Stick to your calendar. You will see that you are so much more productive. You get a lot of things done, and that is going to help you stay crystal clear on where you're headed and give you that ability to focus. So, you guys, thank you so much for joining me on this podcast. I know it's been a short one. Sometimes it's super helpful to just have some tips on what you can incorporate into your life. I appreciate you being a part of this community. Together, you guys, we are empowering so many women to step into their greatness. If you have enjoyed this show and it has added great value to you, it would mean the world to me if you would share it with your family and friends. Go and subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. You can be a part of Deanna Herron's private Facebook group where I go live. I do training specifically for leadership in that group, and you have access to lots of other amazing leaders that add tons of value. If you would like to be a part of that group, just go to deannaherron.net and ask to be added, and I will be happy to add you. Again, thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to talking to you on next week's podcast. Have an amazing week. God bless you.